Welcome to today's Explainer, everyone. Today, we're diving into something seriously fascinating, the science of motivation. Specifically, we're looking at this wildly bold claim that you can literally hack your brain to crave studying, like the exact same way it craves endless social media scrolling. Okay, let's dive right into this because if you've ever felt like you just aren't the, studying type, the stuff we're about to unpack is going to completely reframe how you look at your own habits and your true potential. So think about this for a second. Why is it that you can scroll on your phone for 3 hours straight without even blinking, but you can't focus on a book for 15 minutes? It's literally a universal modern struggle, right? We've all been there. We beat ourselves up, feeling super guilty as we swipe away the entire evening, just wondering why staring at a textbook for even a fraction of that time feels like, well, absolute torture. A lot of the time we frame this as a lack of discipline or some massive character flaw. But as we're about to see, this whole digital distraction thing, it isn't a willpower problem at all. And that brings us to Section 1, the focus problem, where we look at our actual biological reaction to the modern world. Because honestly, it all comes down to dopamine. Now, what's really interesting here is that our inability to focus is absolutely not a personal failure. It is actually a highly predictable biological reaction to modern stimuli. See, your brain is just doing exactly what millions of years of evolution programmed it to do. It's just doing it in an environment that is radically different from the one it was built for. So dopamine, it's the feel-good neurotransmitter that floods your brain when you experience pleasure. Think of your brain as this entity constantly seeking it out, kind of acting like a heat-seeking missile. It's the literal engine of desire. Whenever you do something that feels rewarding, your brain releases dopamine to say, hey, that was awesome, let's do that again. The catch? Modern tech has figured out exactly how to manipulate this natural, deeply ingrained system, which perfectly segues into Section 2, the dopamine hijack, and how we deal with artificial inflation. Basically, we have artificially inflated our brain's baseline expectations. We're not living in a world anymore where we get these small natural dopamine hits from, say, completing a really difficult task or, foraging for food. Nope. Instead, our brains are getting an absolute feast of dopamine from perfectly engineered apps. We are essentially giving our brain a chemical payload it was never designed to handle in such massive, effortless doses. On one hand, you've got short-form videos. Every single swipe gives you something totally new within seconds. A joke, a dance, a crazy fact, a cute dog. It requires literally zero effort and gives you constant novelty. You're basically mainlining pure concentrated dopamine. Now look at studying. Books, notes, long lectures, these sit at the absolute bottom of your pleasure scale. They're slow, they require high effort, the payoff feels incredibly delayed. When you compare the distant payoff of a good grade to that instant hit from social media, well, of course your brain rejects the textbook. It's no contest. So how in the world do we fix this? Welcome to Section 3, Reset Your Baseline, where we start lowering the scale. All right, so we're going to do a daily 15-minute dopamine detox. I want you to think of your dopamine system like a literal scale that's gotten completely out of whack. Right now, your baseline is so incredibly high that only the absolute most extreme, highly stimulating things even register as pleasurable to you. Everything else just feels totally boring. If we want to actually enjoy studying, we have to recalibrate that internal scale so those simpler pleasures start to register again. And don't worry, we aren't talking about some crazy live in the woods for a month nonsense. It's super simple. Step 1, no phone, no music, zero external stimulation. Step 2, you literally just sit in complete boredom. Go for a walk outside without a device, or honestly just sit and stare at a wall if you have to. Step 3, just let your mind wander and settle. It's a highly practical, really small daily practice that's designed to gradually reset your dopamine sensitivity. But I really have to warn you here, your brain is going to scream for stimulation. When you first try this 15-minute detox, it is going to feel excruciating. You are going to want to reach for your phone so badly. But I need you to remember this. That agonizing feeling is actually proof that it's working. You are literally experiencing withdrawal from your usual dopamine hits. Recognizing this discomfort for exactly what it is, a biological recalibration, is the absolute key to pushing through it. Okay, let's move along and see how this builds in Section 4, Hack Your Study Routine, to start delivering more dopamine organically. So lowering your baseline is only half the battle, right? Because if you only detox, you'll just end up bored. The real magic happens with a critical mindset shift. Textbooks are treasure maps, not torture devices. You really have to stop viewing studying as this heavy obligation and start approaching it with genuine curiosity. We have to make the actual act of learning deliver more dopamine so your brain naturally starts to desire it. I mean, think about it. Your brain actually craves knowledge. That's exactly why you watch those random 5 psychology facts that will blow your mind videos at 2 in the morning. When you realize that each page contains information that could genuinely change how you understand the world, you start feeding your brain's natural hunger for understanding, rather than just forcing it to do a chore. Now, to practically trigger that dopamine, you need to gamify the process. First off, break the material down into small chunks and use check marks. Seriously, the simple little act of completion triggers a mini dopamine hit. Second, use the Pomodoro technique. Your brain loves countdowns and finite challenges, so making it a game to focus for 25 minutes works absolute wonders. Third, explain concepts out loud. Verbalizing makes you feel a sense of mastery, which, you guessed it, releases dopamine. Fourth, take notes by hand with different colored pens. This stimulates multiple parts of your brain all at once with visual variety. And finally, connect topics to personal interests. If you're learning biology, connect it to how your own muscles work at the gym. You are intentionally raising studying on your own pleasure scale. Now, you might be wondering, okay, how long is this going to take? That brings us to Section 5, the timeline to success and biological rewiring. Look, this isn't some overnight magic trick, but the chronological payoff is actually incredibly fast when you consider that you are literally reprogramming your brain's chemistry. And this brilliantly illustrates the process. On day 1, you just start with that excruciating 15-minute detox. After just 1 week of daily practice, your baseline starts to lower, and your starved brain actually becomes grateful for smaller dopamine meals. By the 2-week mark, you'll visibly notice the shift. You'll find it significantly easier to focus. And by 1 month, you might actually find yourself genuinely craving those study sessions, like reaching for your books instead of your phone during free moments, all because your brain now associates learning with real pleasure. So, the crucial point is this: your brain isn't broken. It's just been hijacked. You are not lazy, you are not incapable of learning, and you are absolutely not a lost cause. The modern world basically engineered a trap for your dopamine system, but now you have the exact blueprint to escape it. When you take back control of your dopamine, you take back control of your attention, your grades, and ultimately, your future. Which brings us to the end of our explainer today. And I want to leave you with one final, very important question. Which technique are you going to try first? Are you going to start with the 15-minute wall-staring detox today? Or are you going to break out the colored pens and try a 25-minute Pomodoro session tomorrow? Knowledge is only power if you actually use it. So I challenge you to take just one of these actions right now. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I seriously look forward to seeing how you transform your focus.